So they made another trailer for The Secrets of Dumbledore. Technically it's a featurette, but it's pretty much a trailer. There's a lot of new footage. I guess they're making up for their lack of marketing early on, but I'm fine with it. This is awesome. Anyway, I have other videos I want to make outside of Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, but so many of you guys sent me this asking me to break it down, so I thought screw it, those other videos can wait. For this one though, I'm only going to go over the new shots. I'm not going to do each frame like the other trailer breakdowns. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start out with 4 new shots, but I'm not going to go over them in the order they appear in the trailer, but in the order I've realized they probably go in. We saw Theseus being pulled down by the beast in the cave in the last trailer and saw Newt grabbing his hand. Well, now we see Pickett flying off the Niffler, which we saw him riding in the last trailer, and then we see Newt use his wand, which still has Pickett on it, and he summons the Niffler and the tie he was holding. It looks like that tie, which Theseus was wearing during the train scene, might be a portkey. That portkey then brought them to the Forbidden Forest at Hogwarts, which we see a shot of at the beginning of the trailer. They're holding hands just as they were in the cave. They both look shocked as they narrowly escaped. Theseus has the beast's arm wrapped around it, which presumably came with them in the portkey, and Theseus is holding the tie, which again I said might be that portkey. Then we see a shot of them looking over the Great Lake, which takes place right after this one, and you can see the Niffler in Newt's coat. Also, this shot disproves my theory, and I'm sure many others, that these shots were flashbacks to Dumbledore's time at Hogwarts. Many thought that Dumbledore was the Gryffindor Quidditch player, but clearly that's not the case, as Newt and Theseus are there watching them. The next shot shows Dumbledore looking at the portrait of his sister Ariana, a portrait we know lives in the Hog's Head in his brother Aberforth's pub. At the end of the trailer, we see another shot from this scene, and this one's huge as we hear Dumbledore telling a story.
I drew my wand, which was even more foolish.
He's of course referring to the duel between himself, Grindelwald, and Aberforth, which led to Ariana's death. Aberforth and Grindelwald began the duel, and then Dumbledore drew his wand to defend his brother, the thing he was talking about in the trailer, and after the duel was over, the 3 of them never knew whose spell took Ariana's life. We see he's telling this story to Newt, but probably Theseus and Aberforth as well, as we saw shots of them in the Hog's Head in previous trailers. In another new shot, we see the Niffler coming out of Newt's suitcase, meaning this might be the same suitcase from the first Fantastic Beasts movie. There are several others in other shots in the trailer, so that makes me think that the other suitcases are decoys, much like the Battle of 7 Potters, each person becoming Harry to be a decoy for Harry himself. We have another new shot, which shows Newt at the Bhutan Temple where the election takes place, which we of course already knew from earlier trailers, but here we see him talking with Dumbledore about Grindelwald.
No, if we don't stop it.
We have another new shot, which depicts a wanted poster for Grindelwald, and as you can see, it's posted at the edge of Hogsmeade, the town right next to Hogwarts. This probably cropped up when Newt and Theseus were walking to the Hog's Head as we saw in previous trailers. We also see new footage of Jacob and Eulalie Hicks in New York at Jacob's bakery. We see Eulalie changing Jacob out of his bakery clothes and into a fresh suit. Then we see them disapparate away, and the next shot shows Jacob coming out of the fireplace and saying he used a portkey.
I can't pass up a good portkey.
But I don't think these two scenes are related. For one, Jacob arrives on the train alone without Eulalie, which technically has happened in the movies before, as we saw Dumbledore send Harry to the Burrow and the Half-Blood Prince without him, but in the books you always arrive together. Now moving on to the train scenes, we see everyone greet Jacob, especially Newt, which was a sweet scene.
Jacob, you brilliant man.
But this is sort of weird. As I said, Jacob mentions he traveled using a portkey, but he came out of the fireplace. Using the fireplace to travel was called using the Floo network, which is a completely different means of traveling than a portkey. Although in Deathly Hallows Part 1, the trio did jump into a fireplace and somehow disapparated, so it wouldn't be the first time the movie's mixed up magical transportation. After that, we see Bunty in what looks like the Hog's Head, and she has the baby Nifflers with her. This makes me question the theory that everyone has that Bunty is really Tina in disguise, because as we know, the real Bunty cares for Newt's creatures, including the baby Nifflers, so it might not be Tina after all. Or this is right before she uses Polyjuice Potion to become Bunty, and Bunty was just there to give her hair. We also get our first shot of Tina in the movie. Well, sort of. She's in a picture on the inside of Newt's suitcase, but it's the first time we see her. Also, next to her picture, Newt has something from New York and Paris, the places where the first 2 movies took place. Tina's picture also has a Makuza logo on it, which makes me wonder if she's back to being a full-time Auror. If you remember, she was revoked of her Auror status before the first movie took place. After that, we see Eulalie magically making a path for Jacob to run on, which was a shot we had seen before, but now we know where the path of papers came from. We also get another look at the beast that was carrying Newt through the sky, and we get an even clearer view of how it's able to puff in and out. I think this beast was actually saving Newt from falling, and this shot is right after they landed on the ground. We also get more of Credence and Dumbledore's fight, and with that comes Credence's very interesting line.
He's not here for you, he's here for me.
He might be talking to Grindelwald or possibly the Carrow woman and Rosier, both of whom we saw him with in another trailer. Either way though, he takes on Dumbledore and is ready for the fight. We also get another shot of Dumbledore holding the blood pact that he and Grindelwald made as kids, which is probably right after or right before the other shot we saw very similar to this one. And finally, we see Theseus, Newt, Eulalie, and Jacob in the Hogwarts Great Hall. You can clearly see Dumbledore and McGonagall speaking with some students up front, so they're probably on their way to meet them. Also, notice Jacob pocketing something after talking to some kids. Judging from the Slytherins' faces, I'd guess they gave Jacob some magical joke candy. And there you go, every new shot broken down. Warner Brothers has really been pumping out new content, and it's only made me more excited for this film to come out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on Instagram to see more of my personal life, like my cute dog Loki, and some behind the scenes movie flame stuff. I also do similar content on TikTok and Twitter that I do here on this channel, so if you like what I do here, check them out. All the handles are right below me, and links are in the description. Over here are my wonderful patrons. If you want to be featured on the next video, plus get a few other perks, become a patron today. As always, if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe, and look out for more great movie flame videos on the way.